3, 2, 1.
What is going on, Southwest ISD? I am your host with the most, Brandon Medina. This is Scoreboard, episode numero dos, number 2. We are here back again talking all things Southwest ISD athletics. We have the fallout from the Southwest High School Dragon homecoming. They beat Winn 13-28, so they are now very much in the run. They are 2-3 overall and 2-1 in district. They will be playing Nixon from Laredo this week. It's going to be a big game, so we'll break down that. We also are going to be previewing a great conversation with our athletic director, Peter Wagner, here at Southwest ISD, coming on next week with me to talk about the incredible stuff we're doing at our Aquatic Center. We have water polo, people. When did you think water polo would make it to the Southwest side? Well, it is here and now, and we are extremely excited. There's so much great stuff happening here at Southwest ISD. I know aside from the football game, we do have, like I said, water polo happening this week. Some big implications there. We also have a lot of cross-country meets over the next week. So Saturday, October 1st, you have Southwest Legacy's high school girls cross-country, followed by the high school boys cross-country meet. We wish them luck. Obviously, we want them to do the best that they can. Monday, the water polo, from what I hear, it is going to be a big game. So Monday, October 3rd, you have water polo, boys and girls against Stevens, and that's going to have huge implications on playoff runs and stuff like that, from what I believe I heard with Wagner when we talked. You also have Legacy Volleyball at McCullum on Tuesday, October 4th. And then on Wednesday, you're going to have a clear day except for that morning, because Legacy boys and girls are going to be running a cross-country meet at Medina Valley. So make sure you get out there and support them. We love to come at you guys every single Thursday. We will make sure that these episodes keep coming. Again, this is just episode number 2. We're very, very happy to be a part of this, though, with you guys. I'm excited to be back. So let's break down the Southwest High School Dragon homecoming. This might not be one of the longer episodes, but we will be talking again with Peter Wagner next week. So expect a very in-depth look at where Southwest ISD athletics stands, where we want to go, and where we currently are as a full unit in all sports. And so it's going to be a very exciting conversation. All the hot topics and hot questions are going to be asked. But, you know, I'm excited to talk to Peter Wagner. He was my coach back when I was in school here at Southwest. I am an alumni. And to see him where he's at now, I think it's going to be a great conversation, have a full scope. We will be having those interviews more regularly on the show as well. I do want to preview that, you know, we plan to have Coach Bruce and Coach Franco from the football teams at Southwest and Southwest Legacy. We also want to interview some players from not only football, but from, you know, softball, baseball, volleyball, everywhere and anywhere, especially with water polo now taking a big step here on the Southwest side. We want to make sure we're all inclusive. So thank you for listening to Scoreboard. Let's break down Southwest High School versus the Winn Mavericks. Now, this game was incredible on both sides of the ball for Southwest. So you look at it, we talked about this last week. I told you, our boy Brian Lisama, I believe Wagner told me it was Brian. If it is, I apologize, man. But Brian or Brian, whatever it might be, you're incredible, man. The dude has so much talent. So we'll just say Brian for now. Brian Lisama had 18 carries for 114 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dominant performance at homecoming. I said last week I expect this to be his biggest game of his senior season, and it seems like it was. You also had our boy Polo Salazar, the best name of all right there, my man Polo. He had a 49-yard bomb, an absolute crazy touchdown, 1 catch for 49 yards and a touchdown. You can't ask for much more. The team as a whole, though, defensively, man, they were really, really sound. I mean, you had 5 hurries, 1 fumble recovery caused by Jacob Lara and recovered by Nathan Felan, 1 sack by senior Diego Gutierrez, and 1 interception by Angel Quintero, who also tied for the team leading tackles with 7. Polo Salazar led the team in tackles for a loss with 2 on the day, and there were 6 total team tackles for a loss. They looked good, man. I mean, it's exciting. I know for me, homecoming is a big, big time for not only students, but the community, for families. And so to see those 2 guys who we just mentioned last week kind of break out and have great games was awesome. You really want competitive district play, and we have that now. So you have Southwest again standing at 2-1. Their next task on deck is going to be Nixon out of Laredo, and they are 2-2. So when we break down this game right now, very, very similar offenses, but two completely different game plans as far as moving the ball. So Nixon definitely likes to push the pressure on the passing game, likes to test those defensive backs, likes to get in breakdown coverage. The receivers run really crisp routes, Coach Franco, Peter Wagner, and I. So it should be a very competitive game. Southwest beat Winn 28-13. Nixon also beat Winn previously this year, 31-7. And then Southwest lost to Southside not too long ago, and that was a 20-7 loss. Nixon lost 36-0. Did not get any points on the board through 4 quarters. So Southwest, I think, can definitely hang with them offensively. I truly believe Southwest is going to be the better defensive squad as well. It just depends on what kind of squad we get that day of. So let's break it down a little bit. Nixon, 2-2. Rushing yards per game, they have Benjamin Limon. He's rushing about 80 yards per game. Very solid, hard to bring down. You look at passing yards, though. This is where this is the bread and butter of Nixon right here. Passing yards per game. You got Ray Gonzalez with 171.5 passing yards per game. Total yards, 176.5. So you got to watch out for the run here and there. Not too likely. They usually stick to the running back, Benjamin Limon. But Ray Gonzalez has an arm and is willing to use it. Something that, we're going to ask Coach Wagner next week in the future too. You look at Southwest High School, you look at Southwest Legacy. Very run-dominant offenses. Legacy passes a lot more, but Southwest High School for the Dragons, since I can remember, I am not generations, but I have a lot of cousins, friends, family who went to Southwest. And even when I went to Southwest, we've always been a very run-heavy offense. And you can hear it in the crowds, right? Everybody has an opinion on it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I like to ask Wagner, and we'll ask Frank whenever we get him on as well, is, what is the reason for that? I would assume it's to kind of keep turnovers at a minimum. You get to control the pace of the game, slow it down, and maybe get in games where maybe you might not have been. So we'll see what they say, but again, that's in the future. We will have Athletic Director Peter Wagner. I'm thinking a few years back, but Athletic Director Peter Wagner will be on the show next week, followed by hopefully a few coaches as well. Next week is also Legacy's homecoming game, so you do not want to miss that episode. It's going to be a big one. We're going to break down exactly what we want to see from Legacy at homecoming. I think it's going to be an absolute fun time. They're going to be taking on Laredo Martin, but let's get back to the game at hand. Nixon of Laredo versus Southwest. So they pass very heavily, like I said, with Ray Gonzalez. They have a stout defense, though, at least one stout defensive player. You have J.J. Ortiz, 12.3 tackles per game, whereas Polo Salazar has only 10.8, right? So both very, very good defensive players. But Brian Lisama is the one that makes this team move, right? He's the engine that keeps this train chugging along. So you look at him, 111 yards per game, still consistent. That was the exact number we had last year. Last week, still was where he's at. PJ Ramos, 63.2 passing yards per game. Brian Lisama leads in total yards, all that good stuff. I expect this to be very competitive. I expect this to be a barn burner, if you will. And I think it's going to be very physical. You know what I mean? This game is going to be won and lost in the trenches on defense. Because if you can slow down that passing game for Nixon, this could be a very, very easy game script for Southwest to take the lead, especially with Brian Lisama in the backfield, making moves and making people miss tackles. But you got to watch out, because not only is it one in the trenches, because Ray Gonzalez, this quarterback for Nixon, is willing to use his arm and to expose defenses who are not prepared. They looked prepared last week, right? They looked prepared against Winn at homecoming. Winn was already 0-2 or 0-3 coming into it. This is not the same game, right? Nixon can compete, and I think for Nixon, the biggest challenge is containing that passing game. In the past, we've seen Southwest sometimes has trouble with that. I do think they're prepared more now, especially coming into this off of a big win in homecoming, off of the excitement of that. I think this is going to be a huge game. Nixon, Southwest, that's going to be Thursday, September 29th. We're very excited. We wish them the best of luck. So, moving forward, people, Scoreboard is going to continue every Thursday with me, Brandon Medina. Next week, like I keep promoting, Athletic Director Peter Wagner will be on the show. If you have questions, please feel free to send them in on our Facebook page. You can message them in. We can put out maybe a poll or something next week about it as well. But we're excited to have him on. He has, a vast knowledge of Southwest athletics. And I think for us, we want to deep dive into the Aquatic Center, which if you haven't seen is right there by McCullough Middle School on 410 and Old Pearsall. It is incredible, people. It is just top notch. I mean, you're talking about a facility that is going to bring a lot of positive and well-wished attention to Southwest and to this area. And I think, for me growing up, we all used to go learn how to swim at the Palo Alto Community Center or the Palo Alto pool over there. And now we have it right here in our backyard. It's here for students, it's here for staff, it's here for the community. And I think that's a huge part of what we want to do. So I want to see where is Southwest Athletics right now, right? Let's get a feel for what are we doing right, where can we get better, and where are we going, right? Where is the athletic programs of not only the football team, right? This is not a football podcast, but baseball, softball, volleyball. Supposedly we have some incredible athletes on cross country that have a real shot to go to state. And so I think that's something we want to break down as well. Those cross country teams over there, they have some talent. And we know the volleyball teams are good. Softball teams have made state in the past. So there's opportunity here at Southwest where maybe there was not in the past. And so I think it's an incredible time to be a part of this complete transition in Southwest. And so I think if you're a community member, if you're a student, if you're a parent, if you're a faculty member, get out to these games, show your support for these students, show your support for the programs that give opportunities outside of the classroom like athletics. And, I think this is going to be a special year and a pivotal year for Southwest and Southwest ISD as a whole, because the Aquatic Center opens up new opportunities. Legacy looked incredible in football last year. Softball's always going to be great. Baseball's always been very solid. Our soccer teams have been incredible. We want to get coaches and players on. That's going to happen in the future. But as a whole, please go support these teams, and let's make this a place where all can succeed in athletics. And so with that, until next time, I am your host, Brandon Medina. This is Scoreboard, episode number 2. We will come back next week with Athletic Director Peter Wagner. And until then, like always, go Southwest.